Over the next 10 minutes, I'd like to take you through a way of controlling ammonia emissions from slurry that is completely in line with nature. At EnviroSystems, we're very different. We've always worked with nature and with the products that we do, with the silage and with the slurry. These are products that you already have on the farm. They belong to you. You've invested in them. And we want them to get them to the next year in the best way possible. So what we put together was this, what we call the biocircle, because we believe that everything is connected on the farm. So you take soil, the pH in the soil is connected to the pH of the grass. The pH of the soil affects the quality of the grass and the yield of the grass. And then the cow eats the grass, and so the pH in the rumen is affected by the silage and the grass. So then the cow, having eaten the grass, 40% of that nutrition generally comes out the other end as slurry. So the slurry is dependent, the quality of the slurry is dependent on the health of the cow and how well she digests the food. So again, the pH of the cow in the rumen affects the pH of the slurry. So we call this the biocircle because we just believe that on a healthy farm we have pH affecting everything. So I absolutely love this video because basically if your slurry is the right pH, you will end up with your soil at the right pH. So what do we say the soil right pH is? 6.4. Now, interestingly, we've been working with bacteria and treating slurry since 2003, 17 years. What we've found is that if your slurry is 7.4, your soil will be 6.4. Nature is a wonderful thing. Soil at 6.4 is perfect for growing grass, generating this free workforce that you have on your farms. So, the video on the right is showing that the worms and microbes are working hard to bring down that organic matter which has been laid on the top of the soil. So if you imagine that being slurry, effectively you spread your slurry and the worms and microbes bring the slurry down into the soil. But it only tends to do that efficiently if the pH of the soil is correct. So here we have a close-up of the breakdown on the right. Here we've got the breakdown on the left. Effectively, the problem here is that you've got an inert soil underneath, and yes, the organic matter is breaking down, but what is breaking it down? Yeasts and molds and disease-causing organisms. So here we are at the other side, all going crazy. This is your free workforce. In my opinion, because it's the free workforce, this is nature being wonderful, that means if you can get your topsoil doing that, you won't need to buy as much fertiliser. You've got your slurry, which will provide a lot of the nutrients that you need. So it really is an amazing thing. So if you look at the diagrams on the right, you've got a bubbling slurry there, which is treated with bacteria and enzymes, slurry bugs. That maintains, it's aerobic, it maintains a pH of 7.4. So, interestingly, the soil is always 1 mole less than the pH of the slurry. So, a perfect soil that was doing all that stuff with the worms and microbes is 6.4. Now, if you had a slurry that was 6.9, you would have a soil that was 5.9. That wouldn't then generate as much activity from the worms and microbes and the living organisms, your free workforce. So it's really important to aim at this 7.4 pH. How do we know it's 7.4? For many years now, EnviroSystems has provided free slurry analysis with all the slurry books that farmers buy, because we believe it's so important to know the value of your slurry, and it also encourages you to know what fertiliser to buy and not buy too much and not spread too much just to make sure. Because actually that is part of the emissions problem. So just to finish off this slide, the improvement runs at 6.4 pH, and silage, if you make good silage, ideally we're looking for 4 pH. So everything works with everything in this biocell. So we believe that pH is a very, very key measure to try and get right on your farm. So this is the next slide, which goes through emissions and slurry bugs and how much do we know about what slurry bugs can do to reduce emissions. We don't have all the answers. What we do know is that it's a more natural way to manage emissions. And going back to what I said at the start, nature is wonderful. We like to work with nature. In the whole balance of your farm, we believe that managing emissions through a bacteria approach and managing the bacteria in the slurry to create an aerobic slurry is a very good way to go. And if you're making any decisions about what to do, and everybody's quite worried about this, I would say take a moment to reflect and just think, what is best for my whole farm? What is best to do? We know that if you make acidic slurry, then the pH is low, then it will affect the soil, which will then affect the cow, which will then affect the quality of the slurry, and it just goes round in a circle like that. So what we're looking to do is improve the earthworm content, your free workforce, and get that working for you. The gases that we get, that we're looking at are carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and ammonia. Ammonia isn't supposedly a greenhouse gas. However, it attracts particles in the higher atmosphere, comes down and causes problems for the population, breathing problems. So we have to do something about it. So what have we done? What do we know about slurry bugs and its ability to manage emissions? We've been doing research on slurry bugs for 17 years now. We've worked with all these universities and colleges on different aspects of managing slurry. It's only recently that the emissions side of things has been absolutely vital. We've been more focused on nutrients, because in the early days, the key was to save you farmers money and help you to not buy as much fertiliser. However, what we have here is some really good research which we did at Lancaster University, a PhD study that followed the slurry treated and untreated onto the soils and then measured the microbe and worm populations and grass growth. That showed quite clearly that by managing the bacteria in your slurry, you can actually manage the soil better and get better grass growth and a healthier situation on your farm. You see there the machine on the left-hand side, that is a Booker Tango. We have that calibrated to test all the slurry, and that works very hard for farmers, particularly this time of year when you're spreading. That's a good time to test your slurry. We're happy to do slurry tests for anybody who wants, and as I said earlier, any slurry bugs buyers will get that service for free. Come and see us at stand L2, it's just over there, and we can sort that out for you. So whilst we don't have all the answers, we can do a lot of backup testing for you. So this is a very interesting piece of research we did quite a while ago at Lancaster University. What we were looking at here was the CO2 emissions from slurry. So the blue bar on the left-hand side is untreated, and the red bar is treated. So, and this is carbon dioxide given off the slurry. It's a farm trial, this. At 2.5 weeks, our bacteria were giving off more CO2. what that actually says is that our bacteria, they're like us, they breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So what it's showing is there's a lot of activity from Slurrybug's bacteria. And by 5 weeks, those Slurrybug bacteria had fed and multiplied on the slurry, fixed in the nutrients, and they were sitting there, just keeping the slurry homogeneous and healthy. Whereas the untreated slurry at week 5 was giving off a lot of CO2, so the activity is very much slower. So then you say to yourself, well, the scientists that did this work said, well, so at week 5, we're not giving off as much carbon dioxide. What's happened to the carbon? So you'll see in the slide on the right-hand side that the carbon at 5 weeks is 3 times more than the carbon in the untreated. Now, carbon is very, very important in slurry because that is the thing that feeds the soil. It is the thing that microbes live in the soil. So when you get soil that blows away, for example, in very dry weather, high wind, soil blows away, that's taking the home of the bacteria in the soil away from it. Carbon keeps, it's a house for the bacteria in the soil to live in. If you are spreading slurry like that, every 6 weeks through the summer, you are adding to the carbon, adding to the health of the soil, and you're actually getting the best value out of the slurry that you've paid a lot of money for. Slurry, whilst it does seem to be a bit of a nuisance at times, it's cost you a lot of money. Everything you put down the front end of a cow has cost you a lot of money. Silage, feed. 40% comes out of the other end. And this is your money, it's your value. And if we can put more carbon into it, make it more healthy, it's effectively like a farmyard manure heap that improves over time. This is what Slurrybugs does. It creates air in your slurry and it makes it consistent and healthy. So, just to move forward, what are we doing about knowing more about our ability to retain the nutrients in the slurry and reduce the emissions? We do know that we reduce emissions because farmers that use slurry would say it doesn't smell as much as spreading. If you want to check what I'm saying is to help you with your decision making going forward, ask a farmer who's recently put a cover on their slurry, does it smell less at spreading? Just ask that question. If you're thinking of putting a cover on your slurry, just ask a farmer that you know, does it smell less at spreading? Because often it doesn't smell less. And that is because putting a cover on slurry creates an anaerobic environment. So what we're doing to move forward with our work is we have gained some funding from Made Smarter, and we're developing an auto-dosing system. Now this is based on cow numbers and yield. It doses every single day. It's worked from a handheld computer or mobile phone. This is phase 1. It doesn't look much, but it is the state of the art to get these bugs into the slurry on a proper basis every day at the right level. So stage 2 of this is going to be ammonia sensors, which are designed to be in line with the Vera protocol, which is what the Environment Agency wants in order to have verifiable data. So we are working very hard on this, and the fact we've got this funding is really helpful to us because this sort of work costs quite a lot of money. This machine is on one farm at the moment, a 300 cow dairy herd, and we're moving forward very quickly. We are expecting this to be on the market before the end of the year for anybody who's interested. So finally, there's a few bits here. We were quite surprised. There was an RABDF survey done about 6 months ago, and only 30% of farmers are actually analysing their slurry. That means 70% of farmers are not analysing slurry. And that, there wouldn't be many farmers, dairy farmers, that don't analyse their silage. It's something that you do because you need to balance that silage with the right feed. It's the same with slurry. You need to balance up your slurry with the right amount of fertiliser, not too much. We did our own survey. We found 80% of the farmers didn't analyse slurry. So that's a good place to start this year, and give us a ring.